From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday led the turnover of 129 patient transport vehicles, or PTVs, to local government units, or LGUs, in a ceremony at the Quirino Grandstand in the city of Manila. Spearheaded by the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, or PCSO, this initiative aims to enhance medical response capabilities, particularly in identified vulnerable and geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas, or GIDAs. The Medical Transport Vehicle, or MTV, donation program aims to deliver PTVs, Type 2 Advanced Life Support Ambulances, and C ambulances, which are crucial for the swift transportation of patients to hospitals, especially in underserved areas. Over 200 LGUs have benefited from similar programs, with plans to procure more vehicles to ensure each municipality has adequate resources since the President assumed office in 2022. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
It is always a good day when we come together for the purpose of improving the welfare of ordinary Filipinos. I lead today the turnover of these patient transport vehicles to our 129 LGUs beneficiaries. A key initiative of the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, the Medical Transport Vehicle Donation Program builds on our thrust to improve healthcare access and provide swift medical intervention, especially in vulnerable communities and geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. The Philippines is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire and therefore is in the pathway of some of these volcanic activity, also in the way of the storms, encountering an average of 20 tropical cyclones every year. These past weeks, we have already witnessed heavy rainfall caused by typhoons enhanced by monsoon rains. So that while we try to weather these storms, it is crucial we always prepare for the hazards and the potential disasters that come with it. That level of preparedness is the primary matter that brings us together this morning. The Medical Transport Vehicle Donation Program aims to deliver Type 2 Advanced Life Support Ambulances, PTVs, C ambulances, particularly to underserved regions. Specifically, we will be giving these PTVs to provincial, city, and municipal governments to help ensure that their constituencies will be given the chance to pull through whenever they need these assets for the rescue, for the healthcare of those who have become victims to these natural calamities. These vehicles are vital resources to support our heroes in the medical field, our first responders. Kasama dyan siyempre yung ating mga healthcare workers, ngunit ay nanguna dyan talaga ang mga LGU. They will provide timely medical intervention by transporting patients to hospitals. Many times, these vehicles make the difference between life and death. Although we all share the same hope that none of us nor our loved ones should ever be in need of an ambulance, we welcome and greatly desire their presence in our communities. My heartfelt gratitude goes to PCSO for embarking on this endeavor. Since our first day in office, over 200 LGUs have now benefited from this program. I was also informed that you are set to procure even more PTVs to ensure that every single municipality in the Philippines will be equipped with 2 vehicles each. It is a vision worth every ounce of effort, so I enjoin each of you to stand firm, to press on, until we turn this aspiration that we have into reality, and we certainly can do it. While we still face numerous challenges in our healthcare system, this program aids us in elevating the quality of healthcare in the country. No matter how many hospitals and health centers we build, no matter how many medical health professionals we employ, and no matter how much equipment we acquire, it would all be devoid of meaning and purpose if patients cannot reach them in moments of need. I reiterate that the most effective and life-changing impact can only happen when we genuinely put the welfare of our fellow Filipinos on the top of our priorities. I expect that every LGU beneficiary will use these vehicles responsibly and efficiently, and urge the PCSO, the LGUs, other agencies to continue creating programs and projects that will bring life and security to everyone. I am confident that we can build a bagong Pilipinas where no Filipino will be left behind, be it in healthcare or in any other opportunity to live meaningful, prosperous, and healthy life. It is what our people need. It is what Filipinos truly deserve. And what you see here are 129 of the present 300 vehicles that are now with the PCSO. Wala pang kalahati ito doon sa na-deliver na ng PCSO sa iba't ibang bayan sa buong Pilipinas. At pinapangako sa atin ni GM Mel na magkakaroon ng 1,000 pa. Lahat-lahat ay 1,000 para lahat nga ng bayan, lahat ng lungsod, lahat ng probinsya ay magkakaroon nitong ating ambulansya or patient transport vehicles na ginagamit. Ang instruction ko talaga, nung kami bagong upo, ang instruction ko talaga kay GML, sabi ko sa kanya, alam mo, pagka pinag-uusapan ng ambulansya, healthcare na yan, buhay na ng tao yan. Dapat wag nang pinupolitika yan. Dahil alam ko naman ang sistema na nung gobernur ako, kung malakas ka, makakakuha ka ng ambulance. Kung hindi ka malakas, ay mababa ka sa listahan. Kaya ko hindi naman dapat pinupolitika ang healthcare system natin. Kaya siguro ay ang malaking pagbabago rito ay hindi na kayo pupunta sa PCSO o sa akin o sa gobernador ninyo o kung kanino, senador na kaibigan nyo, ang congressman nyo, sabi, pakiusap naman, wala kaming ambulance. Antayin na lang ninyo na may ambulansang darating sa inyo. Hindi na kailangan. Dahil nga, kagaya, paulit-ulit ko naman nasabi ito, galing naman talaga ako sa LGU, kaya naintindihan ko ang pagpili nitong modelo na ito na ambulansya ay talagang iniisip namin na mabuti. Meron talagang maganda na malalaki, na mamahalin at halos ospital na ang laman ng ambulansya. Ngunit hindi practical dun sa mga maliliit na bayan. Dahil na-experience namin ito na meron kaming napaka-denonate na ang mga nurse at saka doktor na Ilocano sa California. Nag-donate sila ng 2 malaking ganda-ganda na ambulansya. Nung mag-emergency, hindi makapasok dun sa maliliit. At ang ginagawa, sinasakay namin yung pasyente sa tricycle bago ilalabas para isakay ulit sa ambulansya. Kaya ito, bagay na bagay sa Pilipinas ito. Madaling ayusin kahit yung mga mekaniko sa probinsya na sanay ito dahil maraming pyesa, madaling ayusin ito. Kaya practical ating pagpili itong modelo na ito. Kaya yan ang ating hangarin na talaga naman ay maramdaman ng taong bayan na kahit papaano, sana nga hindi mangangailangan ng itong mga ambulansya. Ngunit kung dumating ang araw na may pangangailangan sila ng ambulansya, nandyan at meron magamit at gumagana. Kasi nga, yung mga iba, napakaganda nga, mga 6 na buwan lang, after 6 months, hindi na tumatakbo. Dahil walang pyesa, hindi natin alam ayusin. Ito, simple lang at practical para sa ating mga LGU. So that is what we are doing today. And that is why I'm very, very happy because it is a true service to the people. It is removed from political color. It is removed from all of these political forces, which unfortunately we all know was the way it was conducted before. So palitan na natin yan at tingnan natin lang, hindi na kung sino ang mga magkakampi, kung sino ang mga kaalyado, kalimutan na muna natin yan. Asikasuhin muna natin ang taong bayan.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday visited the Philippine Children's Medical Center, or PCMC, in Quezon City as the nation observes the Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Recognized every September by childhood cancer organizations around the world, Childhood Cancer Awareness Month aims to increase awareness and raise funds for those affected by childhood cancer. During the program, the President turned over a check donation amounting to 150 million pesos for the hospital. President Marcos also conducted a tour and inspection of its facilities and equipment together with Department of Health or DOH Secretary Chodoro Herbosa and PCMC Executive Director Dr. Sonia Gonzalez. The PCMC is one of the national centers for specialized healthcare under the DOH that provides pediatric care, offers training programs for medical and allied healthcare providers, and is a center in clinical research. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
To be here at the Philippine Children's Medical Center, I am reminded that in a world characterized by power and strength, children teach us what true strength looks like. We come here thinking that we need to be strong for them, but in reality, it is their strength that lifts us. It is their laughter, despite the pain. It is the courage that reminds us what it means to be human. Here at the PCMC, those small frames and brave hearts show us that resilience is not about being unbreakable, but about bending without breaking, about getting back up when you fall. This place, formerly called Lungsod ng Kabataan, was born out of my parents' love for children and from their belief that children are this nation's greatest treasure. And I think, especially in the Filipino culture, that is certainly the case, not only with my parents, not only with the healthcare workers, but with every single family. After all, I think that all of us are unanimous in saying ang pinakamamahal natin sa buhay ang ating mga anak. So when my parents established this institution, they understood that the future of our country rests on those whose innocence remained pure, despite the adversities that they face. That they knew that our children's welfare is the country's well-being. They built this sanctuary not just for treatment, but for hope that every child, despite whatever diseases they are suffering from, can grow up to their full potential. 44 years later, the PCMC remains true to that mission and continues to improve the quality of care and attention that it provides. The reduction in treatment abandonment and the strengthened medical assistance for indigent patients are testaments to the dedication of all of you that work here. While we have made great strides in children cancer care, we must also acknowledge that there is still a great deal that we need to do. To our little warriors and their families, you're not alone in this fight. Di po kayo, kami ay nandito po, kasama ninyo at kabalikat ninyo sa nagagawin ng lahat upang tulungan ang inyong mga anak na maging malusog at maging malakas. We stand with you, ensuring that quality health care, early diagnosis, necessary treatments, and medical assistance for indigent and financially incapacitated patients are accessible to you and to all. The PCMC Legacy Tower, with its advanced capabilities for specialty care, shall be a beacon of hope for generations of children to come. The newly installed diagnostic imaging machines, the 3 Tesla MRI, the 128 slice CT scan, and the dynamic DER X-ray machine. They're not just shiny new machines, new technologies. They are lifelines. They allow us to diagnose more quickly, treat more effectively, and give every child a fighting chance. As early cancer diagnosis and prevention of treatment delays can significantly improve the quality of life for children with cancer, a precise diagnosis is crucial. That is why an additional 150 million shall be given by the Office of the President, which we just handed over, to the PCMC for further equipment upgrading. But beyond the new building and these new machines, it is the human spirit that will ultimately make the difference. The spirit that says that we will not give up. We will keep fighting no matter how hard the battle. That is why I thank the men, women of PCMC. Those of you in your white lab coats who bear the invisible battle scars within you, and those who simply wear a smile and assist in whatever way they can to make these children's lives a little better, for remaining committed to the fight against children's cancer. Your dedication is felt far beyond the halls of PCMC. Every patient, you are there making a difference. You remind us that quiet work carries the greatest impact, and that true strength is not about winning the fight, but about never giving up. If there is one thing I believe with all my heart, it is this: as long as places like this stand and people like you continue to give all that you can, hope will never run dry. It will shine through every day, every struggle, every challenge. Every child who battles cancer, every family that stands with them, teaches us a powerful lesson that life, no matter how fragile, is always worth fighting for. In every small voice that I have heard today, in every brave smile that has crossed my path, I have seen a glimpse of that extraordinary courage that can move nations. Sa lahat ng mga narito, lalo na sa mga pasyente at kanilang mga pamilya, maraming salamat po sa pagpapaalala sa amin na minsan ang mga pinakamahihinang tinig ang nagpapamalas sa atin ng matinding kalakasan. Na minsan, ang tanging kailangan natin ay tunay na pagmamahal at matibay na kalooban upang magpatuloy sa kabila ng lahat. Maraming salamat sa inspirasyon. At sama-sama natin buuhin ang isang mas malusog, matatag at maginhawang bagong Pilipinas para sa lahat. Mabuhay ang ating mga kabataan, mabuhay ang mga bayani ng Philippine Children's Medical Center.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday hailed the Philippine National Police or PNP for the apprehension of Kingdom of Jesus Christ or KOJC founder Apollo Quiboloy, calling the successful operation as police work at its best. In a media interview, the president said Quiboloy turned himself in to authorities Sunday evening due to continued pressure by law enforcers during the police operation. The chief executive also explained the presence of soldiers in Quiboloy's apprehension, saying that the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, has been tapped to serve as an augmentation force and was actually requested by Quiboloy's camp. President Marcos said he was glad that the hunt for Quiboloy is over and the wheels of justice can now take its course. The Philippine president assured of transparent and lawful due process and that no special treatment would be given to the evangelists. Let us listen to the statement of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Well, the extradition request is not just there. Besides, the judicial processes that Apollo Quiboloy is going to have to go through now, locally, still have to be done. Because we have, what has been done is that we have implemented and enforced an arrest warrant that was issued by the court. And therefore, it is now within the court's hands. Wala na sa executive ito. Kami sa executive, ang ginawa lang namin, in-implement lang namin, in-enforce lang namin ang order ng court. So that is the situation now. We will have to look at that. But for the moment, hindi extradition ang tinitignan natin. Ang tinitignan natin ay yung mga kaso na mga complaint na pinila dito sa Pilipinas. At yun muna ang kailangan niyang harapin. Well, ganyan naman talaga. Madalas naman mangyari yan na may augmentation sa AFP. But let's be very clear. This was a police-led operation. It was a police operation. Kung ano man ang involvement ng AFP dyan ay, as I said, augmentation. As you can imagine, all through these past months na, all the intelligence services were involved, both in the police, both in the AFP, even our civilian intelligence services. Kasama lahat yan para malaman natin ano yung dapat natin gawin and what are the movements that can be attributed to Apollo Quiboloy, Mr. Quiboloy. At yan ang kaya naman may augmentation. Kung maalala ninyo, nung una silang pumasok, after 24 hours, 36 hours, hapong-hapo na yung mga pulis. So, ang ginawa namin, para marelyebo naman sila ng konti, ay nagpadala kami ng sundalo na AFP. That was about 2.5 weeks ago. Nagpadala tayo ng AFP para mag-augment, makapagpahinga naman yung mga pulis natin. But eventually, when that was okay, nung pwede na naman yung pulis natin, winidraw na naman natin yung AFP at ang pulis na naman ang nag-frontline. So that's a standard procedure dito sa Pilipinas. Madalas naman talaga natin ginagawa yan. Well, I think what you all want to know, and let me take you through the timeline already, what happened here. Over the last 2-3 weeks, we have been getting messages and feelers. Alam niyo naman to, yung mga sinasabi magsusurrender si Mr. Quiboloy basta meron sa mga condition na kung ano-ano na sinasabi na kailangan may promise na hindi siya papadala sa Amerika, na hindi at kung ano-ano pa. At alam naman ninyo, hindi naman natuloy yun dahil hindi naman maaari na yung fugitive ang nagsasabi kung ano yung mga kondisyon na sa pag-aresto sa kanya. Kaya walang nangyari doon. Patuloy, ngunit patuloy. Meron tayong mga figures na nakukuha. At we were very clear to his people, his lawyers specifically, na hindi maaari na may conditions na mayroon siyang ilalagay. At lagi namin sinasabi, basta patuloy lang ang aming gagawin. You have to decide what you want to do, but we cannot. We are ordered by the court to enforce this order, and that's what we are going to do. And the putting of conditions is not an option for somebody who is actually a fugitive. So this went on back and forth for the last 2-3 weeks. On yesterday, um, about between 8 and 9 in the morning, we got another message from our contacts na sinasabi handa na raw siya mag-surrender. Sinabi very good. Wala ng conditions. Wala na yung mga conditions na dating ilinalagay. So, sabi namin, fine. Pero sabi niya, sana may presence ng AFP dahil wala daw siyang tiwala sa police. So, fine. Yun ang ginawa namin. So, that was around, na-decide na, sabi ko, by 9 o'clock, I cannot remember the precise time, but by 9 o'clock yesterday, in the morning, I was able to say, sige, tuloy nyo na. Agree to that scenario. So, and that was it. So, tuloy-tuloy ng pag-uusap. How do we do it? Where do we do it? By, at 3:40 in the afternoon of yesterday, lumipad na yung C-130 papuntang Davao para susunduin na siya. And that is exactly what happened. Pagbaba ng C-130 sa Davao Airport, pinuntahan na nila ang compound at natuloy na yung kanyang pag-exchange. Dinala siya, sinakay sa C-130 para dalhin dito sa Maynila dahil kailangan ang unang naging kaso niya ay Pasig. So, doon muna siya haharap. And that's essentially the timeline of what happened yesterday. The events after things that were not really moving, kung hindi dun sa atin, yun na nga, pinasok na yung ng pulis yung compound, naghuhukay nga tayo dahil na ang intelligence natin ay sinasabi talagang nandoon siya at patuloy yung aming operation. So that is that as I think the what convinced Mr. Tibuloy wala na, useless na magtago siya na dapat lumabas na siya. And so well, I'm happy that I'm glad that this is over. We can now resolve and look at the allegations that have been made against him. We have to, I have to commend our PNP. This is police work at its best. This is what the PNP can do pag led well at maganda ang ating pagkakaunawa at pag-coordinate sa iba't ibang ahensya. But this is what policemen do. They go after and enforce court orders and go after those who have had cases filed against them. At nakita natin, desidido ang ating mga pulis at ang instruction ko sa kanila, etong last time, sinabi ko, pagpasok natin, huwag na kayong aalis dyan hanggat makuha na ninyo siya. And that's exactly what they did. Nakita niyo naman, we had to engage so many parts of the agencies, mga technical, yung mga intelligence services, lahat, kasama lahat yan. But it was, in the end, it was a police action that brought Apollo Tibuloy to the arms of the law. The question that is being asked constantly, kagabi pa hanggang ngayon, nag-surrender ba o nahuli? I think that's a legal question, pero ganitong iniisip ko, hindi siya lilitaw kung hindi namin hinabol ng gusto. Ang pagkaintindi ko, ang pag-surrender, pag sinabing surrender, I don't know, maybe the legalists can explain this. Pero ngunit ang pagkaintindi ko, ang surrender, kapag wanted ka, ang surrender, pupunta ka sa police station o sa prosecutor, I don't know kung saan. Sabihin, ito an official authority. Sabihin, nagsusurrender na ako. Alam ko may court order na, may arrest order na ako, kaya magsusurrender na ako. Hindi ganyan yung nangyari. Ang nangyari, napilitan siyang lumabas dahil malapit na ang pulis sa kanya. To his credit, ang sabi niya, yung mga follower niya, magpapakamatay para sa kanya. At ayaw niyang mangyari yun. So to his credit, he was still displaying a modicum of leadership to his followers. Kaya naman, again, I will stress, it was a very, how do we say, involved police action, augmented, of course, by the AFP, augmented by the civilian arms of government. And but it was once again, it was really through the efforts of what our policemen did. And once again, I stress that kung merong mang nasaktan, ay may galos lamang, may sugat lamang. No major injuries were sige, sa tulukan, sa girian. Ngunit wala namang nasaktan wala namang namatay, walang nabaril. Dahil walang ulitin ko. Lahat ng pumasok sa KOJC compound, lahat ng tao natin, ni isa doon ay may dalang baril. Wala sa kanilang may dalang baril. Dahil hindi mo na malaman kung may dalang baril, iba yung nagiging usapan. Yung instruction ko sa kanila. Wala akong gusto masaktan. Hindi ko naman gustong saktan yung mga member ng KOJC. Dahil tinutulungan lang nila yung kanilang sinusundan na leader. Okay? Bakit natin sila sasaktan? Ba't pa tayo magdadala ng baril? So, ganun na lang. And so, again, this is how it should be done. You can't do this without hurting anyone. You can't do this without shooting anyone. That is what police work is meant to be. And this is police work at its best. Kaya congratulations sa lahat ng ating mga kapulisan, yung na-involved, yung behind the scenes na na-involved, ang ating Chief PNP ay talagang all the time, araw-araw nagre-report sa akin, sometimes 2-3 times a day, kung ano yung mga pangyayari doon sa Davao. So, it is really with some relief that I can say that at least this phase of that operation is now over, and we now leave Mr. Kibuloy to the judiciary, to the judicial system, and siyempre babantayan natin na tama naman ang mangyayari na lahat ng kanyang karapatan, walang masasagasaan sa karapatan niya, wala namang ibabaliwala sa kanyang kahilingan, kung ano man yun. But again, there is no special treatment. Although he's a very prominent person, we actually, hindi na, kung kahit mas may magsabi na gawin natin special treatment, hindi namin alam gawin yun. We don't know what special treatment is. So we will treat him like any other arrested person, and we'll respect his rights, and we will go through the process. The process will be transparent. Everyone who is involved will be accountable, and we will demonstrate once again to the world that our judicial system in the Philippines is active, is vibrant, and is working well.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday directed the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, to prioritize establishing connectivity in remote and isolated areas across the country. The President issued the directive during the sectoral meeting on the National Digital Connectivity Plan, or NDCP 2024 to 2028 in Malacañang, where the DICT presented its connectivity proposals. The Chief Executive suggested rolling out the connectivity program in areas where the government can provide free Wi-Fi. To ensure a market for telecommunications companies, President Marcos said, the government could help by providing connections to government facilities. Once the budget is approved, The NDCP will serve as the country's strategic blueprint to bring universal and digital connectivity nationwide and serve as a linchpin in creating a digital Philippines. President Marcos recently approved the $288 million Philippine Digital Infrastructure Project, which according to DICT seeks to complete the national fiber backbone and bring high-speed internet connection even in disadvantaged areas. To be financed through Official Development Assistance or ODA from the World Bank, the project is a flagship initiative of the DICT and involves the construction of a public broadband infrastructure network. In July, the DICT reported 13,462 free Wi-Fi sites in 1,401 cities and municipalities nationwide, including 3,040 geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. It added that some 9.8 million Filipinos have benefited from the DICT's free public internet program. Enacted in 2017, Republic Act or RA 10929 or the Free Internet Access Program in public places requires public places like hospitals, transport terminals, and government offices to provide free internet access.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday administered the oath of office to the new officials of the Commission on Higher Education or CHED in a ceremony in Malacañang Palace. Among those that took their oath is newly installed CHED Commissioner Dr. Shirley Agrupis and the agency's new directors, namely Dr. Jimmy Catanes, Dr. Marie Silvet Gunigundo, Dr. Laura Yusi, Ms. Aline Magalong, Attorney Marco Cicero Domingo, and Mr. Rody Garcia. In a social media post, the President said, "Education is the foundation of a strong and prosperous nation." The Chief Executive added that with their leadership, we can ensure that every Filipino, from the most remote communities to urban centers, has access to quality education. Prior to her appointment to CHED, Dr. Agrupis served in various positions at the Mariano Marcos State University or MMSU, including Director for External Affairs and Partnerships. She is also a graduate of MMSU, where she earned her Bachelor's of Science degree in Biology. Agrupis holds a Master's of Science degree on Plant Morphoanatomy and Physiology from the University of the Philippines and Doctor's degree of Philosophy on Agricultural Science from Shizuoka University in Japan.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other Malacañang news, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday approved the recommendation of Department of Justice or DOJ Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla to relieve Bureau of Immigration or BI Commissioner Norman Tancinco due to irregularities in the agency. Presidential Communications Office or PCO Secretary Cesar Chavez confirmed the President's decision in a message to Palace reporters. In a television interview, Remulla said he had completely lost trust and confidence in Tancinco due to irregularities in the BI, including the escape of dismissed Banban Tarlac Mayor Alice Guo and the supposed issuance of visas to fake corporations. According to Remulla, he had raised concerns with Tansinko regarding allegations that working visas were being issued to fake corporations to bring in illegal gambling workers to the country. However, the Justice Chief said Tansinko never did anything about the report. Tansinko attended the Senate hearing on Monday but said he has not been officially informed yet about his relief. Guo, who is facing complaints over her supposed involvement in illegal Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs, reportedly used a Philippine passport when she left Manila on July 18th via Batik Air and landed on the same day in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. 3 days later, Guo boarded a Jetstar Asia Airways flight and landed in Singapore before taking a ferry going to Riau, Indonesia. She was arrested by Indonesian authorities on September 3rd and returned to the Philippines early September 6th. The BI, in a statement Monday, maintained that Guo and her companions left the country illegally without undergoing regular immigration inspection. Guo told the Senate Committees on Women, Children, Family Relations and Gender Equality joint with migrant workers and Public Order and Dangerous Drugs that no government official, including those from the BI or any other Filipino, facilitated their departure.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is set to host a hero's welcome to the Filipino para-athletes who saw action in the recently concluded 2024 Paris Paralympics in Malacañang Palace. The hero's welcome is scheduled on Thursday afternoon. Philippine Paralympic Committee President Michael Barredo said, "The President is very supportive, who acknowledges and recognizes the efforts of our para-athletes." Barredo added that even if the country's para-athletes fell short of reaching the podium, they are proud of their valiant efforts nonetheless. The Philippine delegation is composed of para-archer Agustina Bantilok, para-taekwondo jin Alain Ganapin, para-wheelchair racer Gerald Mangliwan, para-javelin thrower Sandy Asusana, and para-swimmers Angel Autumn and Ernie Gawilan.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, Philippine Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin assured that the Office of the President or OP can still accomplish its mandate even though their budget for 2025 declined. As stipulated under the 2025 National Expenditure Program, the OP had requested a total of 10.506 billion pesos for their budget next year. This is 1.88% lower compared to the OP's approved budget this year. In his presentation during House Committee on Appropriations hearing on the OP's budget, Bersamin said that the OP believes that the proposed amount will be sufficient and adequate for the President to meet the exacting demands of being the head of state and of government, the chief architect of Philippine foreign policy, and the commander-in-chief. According to Secretary Bersamin, more meetings will still be conducted, more presidential public engagements will still be held, the cabinet will still be convened as often, the consultations in Malacañang befitting its role as the policy center will still be constant and regular. However, Bersamin added, these activities will be conducted and held economically. mindful of the need to provide quality services for the people with less financial requirement in support of the Bagong Pilipinas or New Philippines brand of governance. The budget, Bersamin said, would also sufficiently support the implementation of the necessary infrastructure works within the palace complex that have stalled due to the pandemic, in line with the Build Better More priority program, as well as to safeguard the overall security of all those who work hard for the attainment of the objectives of the presidency. Following the presentation, ABRA Representative Ching Bernos moved to terminate the OP's budget discussions, citing parliamentary courtesy. Bernos's motion was approved despite objections from the Makabayan bloc, with 48 voting in favor of terminating the briefing and only 3 voting against it.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the House of Representatives on Monday ratified the bicameral conference version of the proposed Philippine Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act. The measure now only awaits the signature of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. following the House's ratification of the Conference Committee report on the disagreeing provisions of House Bill or HB 9034 and Senate Bill or SB 2665, providing for the establishment of archipelagic sea lanes in the Philippine archipelagic waters during the plenary session. The bill is one of priority pieces of legislation identified by the Legislative Executive Development Council or LEDAC. The Senate has already ratified the bicameral report on the measure last week. Pangasinan 3rd District Representative Maria Rachel Arenas highlighted the bill's significance in supporting the 2016 Hague Arbitral Award favoring the Philippines' case against China's 9-dash line that covers nearly the entire South China Sea. Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino said, "The measure is anchored on the principles of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, which grant archipelagic states like the Philippines the authority to designate specific sea lanes and air routes suitable for the continuous and expeditious passage of foreign vessels and aircrafts. Under the bill, foreign ships and aircrafts will be allowed to pass through the designated sea lanes in the archipelagic waters and air routes. The measure also defines the right of innocent passage as the continuous and expeditious passage of foreign vessels through the territorial sea that is not prejudicial to the peace, good order, and or security of the Philippines."
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.820 MHz, and 12.010 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.